Alright, so I was going through the BTD YouTube trying to find like guides for how to get better, different strategies and stuff like that, but I didn't really find anything. And anything but gameplay videos anyways. And gameplay videos are alright, but there's so much stuff that you need to know in order to be good at a strategy that just gameplay videos alone isn't going to give you like very much in order to like compete in very high levels of the arenas. So I put together my own little guide. This is 4 strategies to use in the arenas, and you could get up to BFB Coliseum. I'm not gonna go into depth for any powers to use with these because it takes 10 years to grind powers. But for my first strategy here, it's tack 4 mortar. What you should do right off the bat is anti-stall. Now, for those who don't know what anti-stalling is, it's trying to end the rounds as fast as possible by popping the balloons as fast as possible. And the reason you want to do that is because the main way you get money is time based in this game. If the rounds end earlier, the less money both players have, and since you're going tack farm mortar, what you're trying to do is play as aggressive as possible, trying to kill your opponent. And since your towers are so cheap and you have such good balloon popping power, they have sending balloons at you isn't going to do anything, while sending balloons at them is going to be a nightmare for them. So you want to send as much as you can, glue the front, put your tack up front, and try and end the rounds as fast as possible while giving them a living nightmare to try and defend. So just send whatever balloons you can. Like early game, I like to send reds and blues to try and get it past their defense. And like round 4, you're gonna need a 2-3 tack to defend pinks and blues and stuff. And what you should be doing is trying to send as much as you possibly can at them in order to try and get them to leak. And if it's not getting them to leak, then just stop sending. If it is, keep sending. And that's what you want to do versus every strat. Now, your big goal with this strategy is to try and force as much defense as possible, have them put less money into farms, less money into eco, have them leak down in lives, and then into the mid game and late game rounds, they'll have like so much less resources to defend your rushes. And since they're low on lives, they'll have much bigger chance to die, to have to over defend, to like dumb stuff like zebras and rainbows and stuff like that. And it makes it a lot easier to win games. Like I have a 90% win rate right now just playing in CC, and it's very very easy to win. And it gets a little harder once you get into high arenas because players get better at defending and stuff like that, but it's still super super powerful. I love this strategy. It's really really funny to just rush and rush and rush and watch people panic and die in dumb ways. Now for yells and stuff that they send at you, you're gonna need like a mortar or like a second blade shooter or something. The strategy can solo with a blade shooter until like yellows, so don't really worry until then. If they don't send, just put your money into farms. Always just put your money into farms if you can't rush or they're not sending at you instead of buying the defense. Just greed, because the strategy is so like greeding's so OP because you could just put more money into rushes later game. They don't send. And a lot of people don't like to send because they need more money to defend, so it's just like maximum greeting, maximum money, and you just send huge, huge rushes all game. Now for round 12, you're going to need a camo mortar, so just be prepared for that. And if they do send like camo pinks balloon boosted, it can get through, but just boost. And if you don't have a boost, just prepare another mortar just to get another camo mortar if you need it. It's like so inefficient to send camo pinks and stuff like that, so you're actually coming out ahead if they do send. So just defend it, and it's pretty easy. And after you get your camo detection, like if they rush you, all you have to do is get 3 blade shooters and boost, or you just get a blade maelstrom if they send a super big rush and it's hard to defend, and it just like annihilates all the balloons, and it's just like you can face bomb them because it's so stupid how OP and how cheap it is to defend. Like it's so so inefficient for them to send versus you. So they will legit like if they send, you're outplaying them like crazy. And if they don't send, then you're just rushing them all game, and they're most likely just gonna die. So it's like, it's the biggest like fu. Now, the way you want to play the late game is basically, or not the late game, the mid game is just sending at them, like sending a bait rush, like a small rush to try and get them to boost. And if they do boost, and like a lot of bait rushes I like to send is if they don't have the defense, sending whatever gets through, or like zebras with maybe a rainbow behind or something like that, and try and bait a boost. Once they boost, sending a huge huge rush, and it makes them have to like sell all their farms and like, or they just die. Most of the time they just die, and I'm just sitting there laughing because they, like, what are you supposed to do? Look at that, look at this guy. He can't even, he's got 2 dragon's breath, sold all of his farms, still die. It's like boost is like so important, and if people just use it to like some big rush, and if they don't use it, they have to get tons of defense to defend anyways, and then you just out farm and then rush bigger later game, and it's hilarious. It's really hilarious, this strategy, and like it's just I always feel so dirty playing this. Like honestly, I always feel so freaking dirty. Like you have to play this strategy. Like understand how freaking funny it is. This is my favorite, goddamn. Like just messing around in arenas. This is so funny. Like look at this guy. He's got glue. He's got like so much defense down, and he's going eco. So all of he's got is defense. He doesn't have any farms to sell. So now that he doesn't have a boost, it's like okay, what do you do now? You don't have a boost. I have like $20,000 I can send at you. Okay, that's an over exaggeration, but you get it. I can send like infinite money at him, and what's he gonna do about it? He's not gonna do anything. He can't do anything about it. He's gonna die. So it's just ridiculous. Now, of course, this strategy isn't invincible like all strategies. It does have a pretty big weakness, and that's if you go incredibly late game, you can outlast it. But like getting to the late game is like impossible unless you're one of the best players and you're played for like 3 years and you can defend every rush known to man with your strategy. But like so little players in the game can actually do that. So this strategy is like insanely broken against 99% of people. Like I would have got like a 99% win rate if I wasn't just terrible at the game. But like even with look how much defense this guy has. He has like so much defense. He has glue, which is fantastic against like mid game rushes, but still because I just have so much money, I baited his boost. He just can't defend it. There's just too much I can send at him, and he just dies. It's really funny. Now for this next clip, I wasn't using the strategy, but I just wanted to show, like for round 18, what you can do is bait a boost with one Moab, and if they boost, you can send Moab balloon boosted with tons of balloon boosted fast cooldown ceramics, and that like kills so many people. Or around 20, you can bait a boost with like a BFB and send like tons of Moabs fast cooldown underneath, maybe all out, and that kills most people. To defend a Moab, what you want to do is just get like two what are they called, tack sprayers, and then maelstrom it, and that defends really easily. Or you could just get one tack sprayer, damage it a little bit, like two blade maelstroms in the back, or if you can micro them, just sell and rebuy, and that defends really easily. For BFB, it's a little bit harder. I like to get like 4 or 5 tack sprayers depending on the map. Like depending on the map, you want more defense, of course, because the tack sprayers hit less of the BFB. And boosts if you want to. Like you don't really need that many boosts later game. And then 3 blade maelstroms in the back defends it. Like, or you could just micro your blade maelstrom, of course. And they send like an all out. Like here in this clip, this guy's gonna all out me, and like I think it's really funny because I think I almost die, but because I'm really rusty right now. But I just get a bunch of blade or blade, what are they called? Tack sprayers, and then I just micro my freaking blade maelstrom. If you have a really bad micro, I'd suggest just like in order defending rushes like these really easily, you could either like micro your mortar, like here I just you get one mortar, and you can actually micro that and stun things infinitely, and just it's a lot easier to micro your blade maelstrom or just playing some micro challenges. You can like download a micro challenge mod, uh, and you could look that up online. And if you get that on, if you have like a computer and you have like Steam, and you get that, you could just get crazy micro. That's something I'm doing right now to try and unrust pretty fast. And like this guy's all outing me around 22 or around 23 with like fast cooldown BFBs. Just have a bunch of tack sprayers down, micro my mortar a few times, and then a few blade maelstroms. Absolutely annihilates everything. I don't even have to boost it, and it's pretty funny. Like this strategy, it does fall off in the late game, but it can still like defend up until the late game. So it's like if they all out you with something stupid, you can still defend it and just win the game, and that's what most people do, honestly, because they're not really that. They either are like super drained and can't go late game, or and if they go late game, they're just like fucked because they don't have any money. Now, because the strategy is pretty bad on like water maps, because if the placements are awful, yeah, you need a different strategy to pair with it for the water maps. And my favorite strategy to go is boat farm boomer, and it's pretty much the same exact mindset. You just play like aggro, and like trying to kill them, leak them lives, and it's really funny. It's the same exact thing, but it's a little harder to defend. Um, since it's more like you can't just place a tack sprayer down and it defends for you, you have to actually put your boat on like a targeting that's good for that map. So you can like go through this video and like see the different maps and the targeting I use. Like for this map I put it on close right here. I'd actually prefer to put it in like below that bottom swan, but I can't ever place it on this map, on this side anyways. And it pisses me off, but it's a little less good at defending, but it's still really good. And for blacks and stuff, you just get another boat, and depending on what they send, you want to get more defense, or if it's not getting through, don't get defense. Like a lot of people I notice who are like just starting out, they like to, what's it called? They like to over defend. So if something's not getting through a lot, but it's leaking a few lives, they get more defense anyways, and it's like really stupid because you want to put that money into farms. And who cares if you leak a few lives? You're trying to kill your opponent early anyways. You're not going around 50 or something. And like I get it because like if you leak too many lives, it's a lot easier to die to a rush. But mid game rushes, just like if a few zebras get through, you're dead anyways. So it doesn't really matter that much early game leaking a few lives. So just put more money into or put more money into rushes or farms and stuff, and only get defense if you're leaking like a lot. So for some maps, you're gonna have to get a 1-1 for pinks, or on this map, yeah, I can just get like grape shot because of how damn OP it is on this map. And for blacks, all I need is a 1-1, and some maps I need two boats that are 1-1. It really just depends on the map and what's available for defending on that map. And for yellows, most of the time, if they send yellows at you, all you want to do is like get two 1-1s, and if they send enough to force a boost, just boost, and if they re-rush, just get a boomer down. Here I'm just showing you different maps to uh, different ways of, or different targetings for different maps and different placements for different maps. It's just because it's a little bit harder for boat. You have to get the right targeting, or else you're gonna leak like so many lives. I've for at least these maps. Like some maps are super long and it doesn't matter that much at all. But for these maps, the targeting matters actually quite a bit for like making the strategy really strong. So I figured I'd show you. Now, if they like all out you round 13 on this map, or not on this map with this strategy, all you really need is like a turbocharge. Like, watch, this guy's gonna all out me. Huge rush, sells all of his farms, complete all out. And I didn't even need to boost it on this map. Like, I just got another destroyer and I could probably defend it without. Some maps you do need a boost. If you don't boost, you die. And on those maps, I'd suggest if they try and bait you with a huge rush instead of like boosting, you should just get a turbocharge so you can conserve your boost. Because what a lot of players like to do in the high arenas is bait your boost and then all out, and then since you need a lot more defense than just one turbocharge on those maps, like on this map for example, Hydro Dam, um, he tries to bait my boost, and I just get a turbocharge, and then he's basically fucked because he just spent tons of money on that rush. And that's something you could do versus players too if you want. Just bait their boost and then all out them. Now round 12, you are going to need a destroyer for, or not a destroyer, a boat pirate thing. I don't know what it's called. Cannon ship. You're going to need that for camo leads, and you're going to need a destroyer in case they send like tons of camos at you, because your turbocharge can't hit them, or your turbocharge can hit them, your bionic can't. So get a destroyer, and you could just bionic it if they send a huge rush. It just depends on whether it's worth it for in that game or not. It's kind of game dependent, but for round 18, I either boost it with one turbocharge, or I just get two turbocharges, or I boat pull and turbocharge. It all really depends on what you want to do on that map. Like, it's really map dependent on what you should do. But most of the time I just boost it, and then if they re-rush with like balloon boosted, I just boat pull and get another turbocharge. Maybe spam down destroyers if they send a bunch of fast cooldown ceramics. Now for the next strategy, and what you should be doing for like really short maps, is like, since tack is a little bit like worse, and I don't really like attack that much because a lot of these short maps, like mortar isn't that good, and you could sneak a lot of camos through. I usually go for basically the land map version of Boat Farm Boomer. The only exception to this strategy than Boat Farm Boomer is you can't really defend BFBs. Like, BFBs, nightmare to defend. So what I usually do is put down a farm. If they're going mirror, like if they're going the same strategy as I am, is I just play a lot more passive because it's going to come down to realistically, it's going to come down to around 20, like, what's it called? Like, you're both going to send round 20 at each other. And what I like to do is wait round 20. And if they send, like, if they send a BFB, I fast cooldown, or all out them with fast cooldown um, Moabs. Since they spent $2,500 on a BFB, they're going to have a lot less money to defend. Or wait a little bit, send a BFB once I have enough to defend a fast cooldown Moab rush of my own, and then it's basically just who sends a BFB while being able to defend fast cooldown Moabs at that point, or who sends a BFB first. So for this map, like I just farm here, and if you're not facing a mirror, just rush them, rush them, rush them. They really can't do much versus you because you just have so much defense. A lot of players like to send like camo choke rushes, so a lot of the times I just like over defend with a few extra, uh, or like since I was going for a record, I just over defended with a few extra, what are they called, Dartling gunners. So it's pretty strong, and you can see he rushes here. I don't even need to do boost or nothing because I just over defend pretty much. And since he's like so much lower on farms, I know I've got this in the round 20 win basically. So um, I'm just waiting for round 20. And like for a lot of players like to send leads with camos in it and stuff like that. Just turbocharge if you need to. It doesn't really matter. And for round 18 Moabs, you should like turbocharge it and get a few dartlings. And um, turbocharge, if they send fast cooldown Moabs behind it, then you need a boost. If you boost like to the first Moab, and they still have a balloon boost, and then they re-rush with balloon boosted fast cooldown ceramics behind like a balloon boosted Moab. It's super super hard to defend. And he just sends a balloon boosted Moab, so I know he can't re-rush with balloon boosted Moab with fast cooldown ceramics balloon boosted. So I'm not that worried about it. And it's less worrisome on this map. If on a map like indoor pools, it's gonna be like pretty scary. Now here, since I have so much money to like defend around 20 fast cooldown Moab all out, I'm just gonna save up a little bit more and get ready for his all out. And if he sends BFB, I just all out fast cooldown Moabs because he won't have enough money to defend. But since he's all outing, I just get 3 turbocharges and boost, and it defends pretty easily. Um, and on all maps, it'll defend pretty easy with 3 turbocharges. If they have enough money, like I really doubt they'll have enough money to send enough fast cooldown Moabs to get past 3 turbocharges on any map. Now for the next strategy here, it's going to be Wizard, Farm, Ninja. And what this is, it's a late game strategy. It can go like really, really late. It could go like around 39, stuff like that. Just being able to defend like fast cooldown Moabs, or not fast cooldown Moabs, fast cooldowns, oh my god, it's that late. So if you have enough money, that is. So this strategy is really, really strong late game. So it's the complete opposite mindset of the attack farm mortar. So what you want to do is if you get a really, really late game or late game map, play this strategy instead of attack farm mortar because it's a lot easier for your opponent to defend on the late game map. Uh, and that's obviously attack farm mortar's downfall. So what you want to do with this strategy is just don't send at them very much. Send a little bit if you can force defense pretty easily, like pinks and blacks and stuff like that. But what you want to do is basically just farm, farm, farm. One lightning wizard will defend until round 8, and then for like balloon boosted yellows or regrow whites, you might need a second lightning. Or I can personally usually just defend with a 1/1 wizard, like an extra 1/1 wizard on strong or something like that, and then I have my other wizard on strong, and that usually does pretty well. And then what I like to do is just farm, 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 and usually like round 15, round 16. Sometimes you can even get around 14 if you're really really good at this strategy. You get a BIA, and what that does is BIAs are like crazy farms. They snowball and snowball, snowball on money. They give you tons of eco too. So it just basically becomes impossible to not go late game once you have one. So what you want to do is get a BIA. I think I'm getting ready for a rush from him. See, if they send a huge rush round 13, you can boost because you can defend an all out pretty easily without a boost, especially if it's a long map. So feel free to boost. Just don't get your BIA if your boost is down, because then they could just re-rush you, force you to sell your BIA, and you don't have a boost to like make you so you don't have to sell it. So just wait until your boost comes back to get your BIA. See, like, and 4 plantations and 110 is how much I usually like to go for before BIA, and then I like to save up $2,600. That's usually how much you need in order to be able to afford a BIA. And since I was able to afford 2,600, I get my BIA here. I'm waiting to see if he sends ceramics, which he does. In case he was camo ceramics, I get more camo detection. But since this is such a long map, I can defend with this. Feel free to boost it if you need to, and then like save up for Dragon's Breath and stuff like that. If he sends a huge re-rush, you can cash out your BIA and get more Dragon's Breath. For Moabs, I usually go for one Dragon's Breath here, and it's pretty strong. Like I was a little bit afraid, but you can like go for a tornado wizard to once the Moab pops to just blow back all the ceramics, or you can on some maps just go for two fire breath wizards, and it's pretty strong. For BFBs, um, here he sends a BFB, so I'm getting ready, and what I do is I get a bunch of think I get 5 fire breaths, and then I save up for my since I cashed out my BIA here. It's fine to cash out your BIA this late since you had so much money in it anyways. You're gonna want to cash out for facility anyways. So what I do is just get a sabotage ability, which is the ninja ability on the right side, and it just slows everything down by half speed. And it's like, how can your towers not defend? What you can also do probably is have like 5 destroyers, and it depends on the map. Sometimes you need like phoenixes, of course. Like if it's a map that your Dragon's Breath don't get a lot of coverage on, you want to go for the Phoenix because then it can cover more of the map without you having to rely on your Dragon's Breath to be able to hit the BFB. But I get like two Dragon's Breaths and then maybe like a Summon Whirlwind and then boost, and that usually defends. Um, if they send like a huge rush at you, like here he's sending huge rush, I'm a little bit afraid if I don't boost it, I'm gonna die. So just get like 4 lightning wizards, and if that doesn't defend, just boost. And if he re-rushes you, a lot of times you can just get up a few Dragon's Breaths. Like here he's gonna re-rush with a ton of rainbows, and since I have like 4 lightning wizards already, I just get Dragon's Breath. He sends a little late here, but I get my boost back here. But I don't even use it here because I don't even need to. Like, look, it just destroys everything. And this is a really bad map for Wizard too, so a lot of times it's going to be a lot easier to defend than that. But since this was a pretty bad map for Wizard, I just it was fine though. I was fine. Now for round 22 all out, like for a Oh My God, or not really an all out, if they just send, you can sell a lot of your farms. It doesn't really matter because it's like so inefficient for them. Then just spam down a few Dragon's Breaths, get a few Phoenixes in the air, slow down the balloons by half speed, and even use a boost if you need to. Like, he's just all out in here, so if I defend this, I win. So I'm just spamming down all my money into Phoenixes, and it very easily defends. Like, this is such a good late game strategy. It's so easy to defend things. Like, Phoenix just absolutely tears everything up. Um, like, look, he's just chilling over there with a freaking Oh My God on his screen. Like, what are you gonna do now, buddy? Nothing. Nothing. I got 15 Phoenixes still, and you're dying to Camo Pinks. GG. He sent in Moabs, bro. He sent in Moabs. He thought Moabs would do anything versus the Phoenix Wizard. Now, if you do go late game, like here I'm going super late game, it's actually really OP. What you want to do is just sell farms, put down a bunch of Phoenixes, and just have all the balloons slowed, and then if they're like all outing you, you can cycle your boosts. Like, you don't need to really cycle your boosts until like round 25 plus. But what cycling your boost means is just boosting and then waiting until your boost comes back, boosting again, and that usually defends everything. Like here, this is another game. He freaking went boat farm wizard and I went ninja, and because I have like a slow, I can go a lot later than he can, like a lot later. And since he just starts all-outing me, I just start spamming down defense, and it just annihilates everything. Like Phoenix, so freaking OP. I don't even need to cycle my boost here yet, and I'm just sending at him, just making him have to use a lot of money on defense. And um, you can start, like, what I'd suggest is all-outing people around 35 with this strategy, because it can't go like round 40 plus, but it can go really, really late, a lot later than almost every strategy. So just slow everything down, Phoenix it, and it's super, super OP. Like, it just annihilates everything. And you only want to use this strategy on late game maps. So, alright, that was it. So, 25-minute video, pretty long, but I hope you freaking learned something. This is a lot of information, but you can get really, really high in arenas with just these 4 strategies, like really, really high. So, BFB Coliseum will be pretty easy. You can even use like Wizard Farm Ninja on Dread Balloon and stuff like that. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you made it this far, because I'm going to be making a lot more videos. I'm going to be going a little bit away from the tutorial videos for a little bit more entertainment side of things. But subscribe if you haven't already. Have a good day, and peace.